Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my video. Here I am, Siti Muawanah from A class, would like to explain about phonological rule. The first is definition about phonological rules. Phonological rules is a formal way of expressing a systematic phonological or morphophonological process or diachronic sound change in language. Phonological rules are commonly used in generative phonology as a notation to capture sound-related operation and computation the human brain performs when producing or comprehending spoken language. They may use phonetic notation or distinctive features or both. John Goldsmith, 1995, defines phonological rules as mapping between two different levels of sound representation. Think about the difference between aspirate and unaspirate allophones once more. The sound P, T, K, for example, share a phonetic feature. They belong to the category of plosive sound. Since all plosive sound that occurs at the beginning of a word or a stressed syllable are produced with such a puff of air, I and E, they are aspirate, we can formulate a general rule that learners of English could be in mind when they start to learn English language. Aspiration rule in English. Aspiration occurs on all voiceless stops occurring as the first sound in a stressed syllable. Although aspirated stops and unaspirated stops are physically different, we consider both to be the same sound. For English, aspiration is not employed to create a meaning difference. And here are some more rules for you to keep in mind. The first is dissimulation rules. This type of rules refers to process whereby two neighboring sounds become less similar. An example is the rule of fricative dissimulation. Consider how hard it is for Germans to produce the th sound in learning the original numbers. The numbers 5 and 6, for example, present a pronunciation challenge in this record. It is difficult to pronounce two fricatives next to the one another when one of them involves the th sound that does not exist in one's language. Interestingly too, such sound sequences appear to present challenges for many native speakers too. Therefore, they tend to make one of the two sound more different from the other. As a result, fifth pronounced as fifth and six as six, just like this. Fifth pronounced as fifth and six pronounced as six. The second fricative becomes a stop, which makes it more dissimilar and easier to pronounce. Next is insertion rule. In this kind of process, a sound is added that is not present in slow pronunciation or spelling. For example, when we pronounce the word hamster at a regular speed, most of us will say and hear hamster with a P. This can be confusing when teaching spelling, especially to non-native speakers who don't have a history of reading and hearing English words and their spelling. Next is deletion rules. Finally, there are types of pronunciation process where sounds are left off. For example, when pronouncing the word police, the word often sounds like place and may be confused with please in one is not used to hearing voiced s. This unstressed vowel deletion is fairly common in fast speech and can be confusing to non-native listeners in ESL context, who often hear words long before they need to spell them. Next is assimilation rule, phonological process in which a sound changes to resemble a nearby sound and can occur both forward and backward. For example, in front of bilabial word, in becomes im. This also happens across word boundaries, like in between pronouns with an M. Next is metathesis rules, phonological process in which sound switch place in the phonemic structure of a word. For example, to make word easier to pronounce and understand, letters are switched. Two historical examples include Old English is breed and axe, becoming modern English bird and ask. Next is strengthening or partition rules, phonological process in which a sound is made stronger. For example, aspiration is where voiceless stops become aspirated when they occur at the beginning of stretched syllable. Top is said as H. And the last is weakening or lenition rules, phonological process in which a sound becomes weaker. For example, the definition of flapping is before a stretched vowel and before an unstretched vowel, where the sound is pronounced with articulation resembling a flap. The word kitty as an example where the alveolar stop is realized as R. When we can predict the environment in which phonemes or allophones will occur, we can write a rule that represents their distribution. The general form of a phonological rule is A becomes B following C and pretending D. Let's go through one last example. Consider the following word. The first is right and right, rope and rope, lock and lock, cute and cue, pick and pick, and the last is tap and tap. Is there a difference in the vowel sounds? Of course there is. The change triggering consonant P, T and K all differ in the same way from their counterpart B, D and G. They are unvoiced, whereas the counterpart are voiced. I think that's all in my video about phonological rules. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you can enjoy the video and you can get the point in my video. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.